Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Lottie Loves Paper using the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Storyteller collection, which is super beautiful and lovely. So I am using the 6x8 paper stack today and I've pulled out a whole bunch of patterns that I want to use. And I'm going to cut them all into triangles and then arrange them on my layout in a starburst design. That's my plan anyway. So I have, so a while ago, so I think it was back in March 2022, we had a sketch at GoGo Getaway. It was by Curie, and she had done this fabulous sketch where the top half of the page was covered in these kind of starburst triangles. And I never got around to doing that sketch at the time. You know, there's only so many hours in the day, right? It's stuck in my mind as a sketch I really wanted to do. So even though I'm not following the sketch at all today, I'm using that as a starting point. So it was definitely in the forefront of my mind when I was making this layout that I wanted to use those triangles. However, I didn't really know how to go about making the triangles and making them even and, doing them properly. So without a cut file that has been designed for me, I was a bit worried about freehand drawing these. So do you know what? I just dived right in and gave it a go. So what I did want to make sure was that my triangles were reasonably equal. So when I did the first one, I drew the central point and then, so I drew my first line to a central point, and then I just had to make sure I needed to measure the distance between the central point and the first line or the corner, and then make sure it was even on the other side. So then once I'd got one triangle done and it was equal, then I could just do that with all of the rest of them. I just made them a bit smaller, but I just made sure that the angles were kind of the same. So there was no real science to it. Most of it was done by eye, to be honest, but then I did make sure that I measured and make sure my central point of my triangle was in the middle of the other two corners. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'm not sure I explained that particularly well. My 9-year-old son, who's a maths genius, could probably explain that much better than me. Are these equilateral triangles? Probably not. Isosceles? I don't know. He'd know. Anyway. So I have spent some time cutting all of those triangles out. I love the patterns, and I've overlapped some, and I've distressed the edges of all of them, and I've got them all stuck down, and then I have put a black line around each one. Now, I probably should have sewn them on my sewing machine. I would have preferred to have done that, but I didn't. I spent so long arranging them that I didn't want to remove them from the paper. I could have taken a photo of them, I suppose, but I just thought that I would cheat and draw the lines in. And actually, I had drawn a line in on my previous layout using this collection with this quite thick black pen, and I really liked how it looked. So that's why I was less worried about doing that again rather than doing it on the sewing machine. And I'll let you into a secret as well. My sewing machine was away and I was feeling a bit lazy and I couldn't be able to get it out. Anyway, this layout is coming together really nicely. I'm so happy with how it looks. I love the big starburst effect on the side. I could have maybe put something on the left so as to have completed the starburst, but then it wouldn't have quite looked right. I was aiming for a bit of white space, so I think that kind of does it. I love all the different angles and the way this looks. I'm so pleased to have finally made a layout using this type of technique. I haven't done anything like this before, I don't think, not with the triangles all facing inwards. It was good to have finally done that. So I'm now just embellishing the layout. I've put a few flowers in. The layout is already pretty busy because of all the patterns. So I don't want to go overboard with the embellishments because I risk overcrowding the layout and ruining the effect of it. So I'm just going with a little bit of colour on colour where I can. So I've got some pink flowers near the pink section of that paper at the top. Adding some green leaves around the green. Some blue flowers around the blue sections. And then I'm just adding some hearts. So I'm adding in some black foam hearts from the foam phrase stickers. Try saying that after you've had a few. the hearts from the ephemera pack as well are going into. I've got a couple of chipboard banners. So one says noteworthy. I've got a little tab at the end, or will have in a minute, that says love this. I've used a Bramble Fox title that says today, just because the colours went quite nicely, and it just worked quite well in that little section there. And then I've also used the word so happy as a subtitle at the top, following one of the angles on one of the triangles. And then I've added the banner to the right of the photo that says love this, and then above that I've got the shot and adore this photo. I really like using the phrase stickers, and they're always so good at them, aren't they? Whoever writes them is great. Because they're always generic and they always work. So yeah, lovely. Not too specific in terms of theme or anything. So right, okay, nearly done now. I'm just writing in some journaling. I've used a light green triangle to put the writing in, so that it shows up. I could have done it on the white, but I didn't want to ruin the shape of the layout, and I just thought it might distort it if I'd done that. So I've just popped it into the green section, and that looks fine. And then I'm going to be very brave and come in with some black splatters of paint. Now, I'm not going to drip from the tube itself because that might be too big. So I've picked up a paintbrush and a small amount of black paint, and I'm just adding some small black splatters all around that central point. I do go out a little bit towards the edges, but mostly clustered in the middle. So there we go. That is that layout complete. I hope you have enjoyed seeing how this layout came together. Sorry, I couldn't be more accurate in terms of how I did my triangles. There was a ruler and a pencil and some numbers involved, I promise. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. That was Nikki Rowland for Lottie Loves Paper using the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Storyteller collection.